right, that, as always, was our good friend Colin Gow with our theme song podcast. I am Steve Schoeny. I'm the city manager for the city of Upper Arlington. I am here with our fantastic producer, who I have a new nickname for that Darren hasn't even heard yet.
No.
Maggie.
Does she know it yet?
She does.
Oh, well, so I was going to do a drum roll, but if she knows it,
No,
it's
she
fine.
knows it.
All right.
Maggie the Claw. McCloskey.
Oh, okay. I was like, the claw. Is it
Maggie
like,
the Claw. McCloskey.
we talking about the 80s hair? Where
No.
Remember the claw?
We talked about whether to call her the Claw or the Kitty Claw. No.
So you're the claw.
Maggie the Claw.
When I think of the claw, I think of like Toy Story. The claw.
Oh, with the little aliens.
Yeah.
This is a multifunctional nickname. The claw.
It's going to take some time for me to adjust to this, but I'm going to try. It's very hard for me to switch nicknames.
From Rock on Roshan.
Yeah, that kind of has a nice thing to it, and it was so ingrained in the, 17 episodes Maggie's done with us. Am I allowed to tease?
Well, first, you haven't introduced yourself. And I'm here with my sidekick, because he's still 49 episodes in, has not booked a single guest.
Yeah, I don't know if I get credit
Darren
for the 50th. Hello, everybody.
You don't get credit for the 50th.
Can we tease that? You mentioned the theme song, like my project, or is that a complete surprise?
So we have talked with Colin. Faithful listeners, hi
Which
Gary.
include...
Hi Gary, hi Holly.
Yeah.
That's Darren's father and my wife. We are going to have a special 50th episode for our next episode where Darren and I will actually be the guests. And we have two friends of the pod coming in to interview us. Kip Greenhill, former city council president, mayor, and high school principal, will be schooling us, I'm sure, on a couple things. And Colin Gow will be coming back. And Colin
We're hoping,
be doing some live musical performances for us.
may have a new theme song. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Because we have officially licensed.
I love Colin dearly. He's a dear friend. I do not make commitments for Colin's. Colin is an artiste.
Yeah, we can't force
I
brilliance.
cannot force art.
So we can basically honestly say that we have commissioned. We don't know if it'll be
I
delivered.
think this will be the first time that Colin has been called an artiste.
We have commissioned an artistic potential new theme song.
Commission means we paid for something. We haven't paid for Jack.
We have requested. We have made basically an ask with nothing in return, as was our last deal with him. He's a great person. I don't know about his musical business acumen. We haven't given him any royalties yet, have we?
No, we have not, because we haven't earned any.
No, nor are we on the path to do so.
So we do have a guest today. Our guest today is going to sound better than any guest we've ever had, because he also happens to be Maggie's direct supervisor.
So she's going to say very nice things about him.
She's going to put a filter on here that has him sounding like Will Arnett or somebody like that. He'll sound perfect. I can guarantee that. Andres Antequera is our head of our kind of communications effort. I get titles. You would think I would know what everybody's title actually is.
That's true.
Let's test him. What is your title?
What is your title?
Communications manager.
Communications manager.
Steve, you were right. He sounds great.
See, here's the thing. I thought you were going with he's going to sound great because of his background and he's like awesome, but you went with Maggie was going to alter and make him sound great.
Maggie's going to, there will be no leveling problems. He will sound smooth. He's going to sound smooth and like late night smooth jazz all day long.
She has basically adjusted dials while the episode's going for the first time.
I'm quieting
She really
you too.
cares.
I'm turning your volume all the way down, and
That's
Andres is all the way
Probably appropriate.
So Andres joined us end of last year?
December.
Yep, end of last year, and joined Maggie and Emma Spate, who's been on our team for a while, really kind of concentrating on helping with our social media and finding new ways to tell our stories and get information out to the community about things that matter. And he also happens to be a pretty darn nice and interesting guy. So we thought we would have him on the podcast.
Just buttering me up right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to put him. I don't do this with our external guests. Like we ask them if they've listened, but like they usually say, "Yeah, I've listened to an episode," but they really
He
haven't.
has to have listened.
Well, that's why I want to know. Like, I want to ask him, like, what is
Have
the
you?
format of the show? Like, I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen. Like, you are our communications manager, and you're Maggie's, supervisor. What is it?
So I do listen.
Okay, it's a test. I want to see if you.
I wouldn't say I listen to the episode immediately after it's released. I let it come out a little bit. I do have. I mean, yeah, I let it marinate. See how the residents enjoy it. So I'm usually like 2 weeks after it's come out. I listen to it. I have a decent commute into work, so I use that time to kind of enjoy the podcast, take some mental notes.
I mean, we don't care when you listen. Oh, what is this? Look at the look
surprise!
I'm here for on
No
purpose.
emergency.
No, the face was classic. I wish we had video of that.
Okay.
This is a setup.
She's your guest.
Surprise!
Gotcha, Steve.
Or maybe it was really Maggie. I don't know.
I was like,
Oh my gosh, the look was like, what just happened?
I was
Am I
like,
about to get
what?
in trouble?
Was
I was
it
like-
Maggie? Or did Darren actually?
It was me.
It was Maggie. It wasn't even Darren. I was trying to
Darren
give you
did not.
credit
This is
Nah.
for booking a guest.
Oh yeah, no, I'm never gonna get credit, even though I.
Well, no.
this is the one guest that was. Every time I'm like, Darren can't
Get
book
on
a
my
guest.
mic.
Darren can't book a guest. I'm like,
Maggie's gonna give me the credit for this.
Yeah,
oh
you
my
can,
God.
you can have this
no.
one. But
It was
No.
me.
it was a dual effort.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
All right.
Surprise.
This is so fun.
This is kind of like, do you remember the first season you tricked me with my dad?
I know.
And so we wanted to get you back. But it's kind of like Game of Thrones, where we have that big 50th episode coming up. But we had
We're
to
not
have
all going to
pre-epi-
die, are we?
No, but it's going to be the big epic interview.
This has been in the slow cooker since May 21st.
There's been a lot of work going on in this, and
Well, I love the sneakiness, Maggie. I love it. Again, I was
You're-
trying to give Darren the credit of booking a guest.
I'm taking it. I'm taking it.
And it was
Take
all
it.
Maggie. I should have known. I should have known.
But he was in on it.
The best part is like Steve and I were having all these meetings preparing, and I was like, yeah, I got it covered. He's like, no, we really got to plan the start bench cut. I was like, yeah, I have it, and I had to put my face down.
Okay.
He's like, what's on a blank paper? I'm like, well, I just don't want Steve to know that this is all a ruse, so I had to keep it together.
I like the start bench cut we had for Andres, though.
Well, he's gonna be back.
Oh, we'll have him for a full episode.
He showed enough that people are gonna want to hear more.
Yeah.
It's like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, they're like, wait, I don't.
Teaser.
Okay,
Andres
so allow me to introduce our guests. Our real guest today is Dr. Holly Dabelko-Schoeny. Dr. Holly Dabelko-Schoeny is a professor in the College of Social Work at The Ohio State University. She's also the research director for the Age-Friendly Innovation Center at Ohio State. So welcome.
And most importantly,
And she also
You're better.
is my
Much better half.
much better half. Yes,
Yeah.
she is
But
the part
that
that
is-
keeps me sane.
You're already our best guest because Steve literally remembered all your
I mean-
titles. He doesn't even know his own employee's title a minute ago. He's like, I don't know. What do you do around here? I don't know.
I was going to say that's the smoothest introduction you've ever made. And
Which
wow.
I
I've
guess
done
is
that one
good.
before.
Yeah.
I've,
Yeah.
I've made that
Good.
introduction before.
It's also fitting that you're here because we did name check you already as one of our 2 listeners.
Oh.
We
So-
did.
yeah, it's true. That's why I knew that Darren has never booked a guest, and I should have known. It was
all Maggie.
It was all Maggie.
Someday.
Still a sidekick.
Someday. Well, you know the format
Yes,
because I know you actually do listen.
I do.
Do you want to jump into Start Bench Cut, Steve?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So if you're a longtime listener, you know that Steve hit my dad with a pretty harsh one.
Yes,
which
he sure did.
was very humbling to me, and I am much more polite. And so here is mine. Mine is the Start Bench Cut of Steveness.
Oh boy. Okay.
So there are 3 things.
Okay.
And-
so these are things. Okay, start.
These,
yeah,
okay,
got
so
it.
I'll explain.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
And 1, creating and mixing drinks. Now this
Okay.
means Steve can't do it or does it all the time, and then you also don't get to or have to
Right.
participate.
Enjoy.
Yeah. So either you like it or you're ready for that to go because you're annoyed with it. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna learn.
Okay.
Number 2, Toronto. Now that means you can't go
Okay.
or talk about it. Like Toronto just doesn't.
Okay. This doesn't exist.
And then the
Okay.
3rd is pickleball.
Ooh.
And again,
this is a
pickleball
tough
means
one.
Steve and you cannot play pickleball
Okay.
or have a duper score.
Okay. All right. I definitely know what I'm gonna bench.
Okay.
Toronto.
So Toronto's
Sorry,
not
Steve.
cut.
You're
it's just
benching it or
benched.
cutting?
Oh, cut. Oh, shoot. Okay.
That's
I
all
already
good.
messed up.
You did.
Toronto is cutting.
So
Out
Toronto's
of those
gone.
three, yeah.
Toronto.
I agree with that.
Toronto is gone.
Out of those three.
I'm sorry to all the Canadian listeners out there.
They can
I
live there.
do-
You just can't go there.
I do.
We've got the
I
rest
do-
of Canada, though.
Okay, that's true.
We'll
The
always have
mountains
Ottawa.
and Banff and Lake Louise
Yeah,
and all those
exactly.
beautiful
We'll keep the Rockies.
mountainous places. Okay. I would say I'm going to have to bench the drinks, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
Mix
It's
up.
probably
There-
healthy. That's probably healthy.
That's healthy. Yes, that's true. And start pickleball for sure.
So I want to dig into this a little bit. So when
Yeah.
Toronto is a pretty easy cut.
Yes.
Is that because you don't go there very often, or does Steve definitely like Toronto more than you, and you're willing to like let that go? Like,
Okay.
what's going on behind that?
So, Toronto is really associated for me with a particular phase in our life. So, we lived there when I was working on my dissertation. And so, it was a wonderful place and a great place to live, but also like it was pre-kids, working on my dissertion. And I don't know. I think
You don't have
I think
any
I'm ready
animosity
to move
towards
on. No. Yeah. I mean, I could live never visiting again. Not that I don't love it, but I would be a happy woman if I never visited it again. It
Are
would
you
be
okay
okay.
with this, Steve? Your love of Toronto.
Yes,
is
honey,
famous.
I'm okay with this. 30 years. 30 years next month.
30 years next month.
We should have done this on their anniversary.
30
Oh, that
years
would have
next
been.
month. Oh, we always celebrate in and around the actual.
Okay, so this
This is your
counts.
present.
This can count.
Congratulations.
You can
Counts.
well, let's go out to dinner tonight.
Okay, there we go.
All right, so then I want to dig into the mixing drink. So Steve
Okay.
is like a child who is proud to show off his homework with the drinks. So are you enjoying this hobby, or are you like, bro, just like stop with this and let's like do something else?
Yeah. I try not to call my husband bro because I get a lot of that from our 18 and 20-year-olds.
That would be bra. That's
Bruh,
bra.
bruh. I'm like, I am your mother. I am not your bra.
Not even a thing. Anyway.
So, no, I enjoy it because I get to try them. So I'm the test taker, before it goes out to the
So
outside
you're
world.
you're generally in with this hobby.
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
So it was a tough choice, but pickleball I know you both enjoy very much.
Yes, Steve is much better than I am, but I enjoy it.
Is he a good partner, or is he like one of those like, oh, you gotta hit the ball better, we gotta win this?
Yeah. No.
No, I'm not a good
Yeah,
partner.
you said no.
No, I know.
Interpret as you want.
It's
audience.
like the Midwestern. No, yeah, no, yeah.
no.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I think we do fine. I'm probably a worse partner to him than he is to me.
I'm not
because-
talking about
She's a good
ability. I'm
woman.
talking about temperament. Like, is he
Yeah.
cool to play with, or is he just like?
That's what
man?
I mean. Like my temperament.
Oh, you're.
Yeah.
You get mad.
Sometimes I get down on myself. So he.
So he's a
hypes me
positive.
up.
Oh, Steve, you're a
He
good
does.
partner.
He does.
Um,
he hypes me up.
Do you have a duper score too?
I have a boom box that I bring out
do.
to play special music
I
for.
do.
Play the hype man.
I've played volleyball with Darren. Temperament,
Not good.
not great.
Not great.
But he's usually only mad at himself.
Okay.
It's all
And
just
it's a lot
internal
of
rage.
It's a lot of physical, like stomps on the ground and scoffing at himself.
Yeah, I'm nice to my teammates.
No,
Try
you're
to be.
good to your teammates, but you definitely, we know when you're upset. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm like you think you're hiding it, but you're not.
Like, oh, I should have got that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot of that.
So I've been curling with Darren.
Yeah, we did go curling. That was amazing. I think you guys beat me, which also kind of.
Oh my gosh, I laid straight out flat on the ice at one point.
But you made the shot.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like you shouldn't be able to do that and
the
win.
problem is, what's the problem with that?
That was fun though, wasn't it? We should do that again.
No.
Can we get a commitment? Can we get a commitment on the air to do it
No.
again?
No, let's pick something else. Line dancing. You have a colleague who line dances.
Yes, Karen.
Yeah, she was a guest. She was a guest. Let's do something not curling, Darren.
Axe throwing?
Oh, yeah. I do that. I'm from Southeastern Ohio. I do that.
Have you ever done it?
Actually, no. I
You
was a
might
professor's
look.
kid.
I have found the one thing in the world I am good at. Like I struggle at all these sports, but like we did axe throwing one day,
Yeah.
and I won. And I've never done it before. Like,
Okay.
and the best part about it was I was good, and Jackie was horrible, and
Jackie
she
was awful.
so mad.
And she's married to a firefighter.
A firefighter and a farmer, and so
And a
you
farmer,
you
yeah.
might have the same. You might be like, oh, I'm Southeastern Ohio girl. I'm going to throw this axe, and you might have the Jackie Thiel syndrome in axe throwing.
That's
She's good at-
true. I can shoot a BB gun.
Oh,
You can go trap shooting.
whereabouts in southeastern Ohio?
Athens.
I lived in Wellston
Oh,
for
yeah.
3 years.
Okay.
Wait, so you're from Athens?
I'm a townie.
'Cause I'm a
in the
town-
80s
I'm
with
a
the big
Miami
hair.
townie,
Okay.
so we are kind of have similar experiences probably.
Well,
No, the rivalry comes out.
I'm pretty sure no.
I do. We did.
Listeners, what you missed was the dismissive look of, no.
Athens is so superior.
Typical Miami.
Yeah, but I got it. I was just saying we're cool, and she's like, "No, you're not. You're not cool." Like usually Miami would be doing that, but she struck first.
She did. It's a woman with some confidence. She knows what she's all about. So
So you went to OU.
I did not.
You did not
No,
strike
but I
that.
met my main squeeze who was at OU. But I went to Wittenberg in Springfield. So I was a townie and wanted to get out of Athens. Now, of course, I want to go back.
Yeah.
But, but then met Steve the summer before our senior years in an internship program at the state of Ohio. And then we dated our senior years long distance. So I was coming back and forth as a college student.
we met in an elevator.
Oh,
We
my.
did. And
This
I
is a
thought
Aerosmith
he,
song
movie.
I thought he was rude. I'm not kidding.
I mean,
I
you're
thought
not
he was
wrong.
rude. He had an OU sweatshirt on, and my father's a retired political science professor at OU. And I was with my mom, and we were both on the elevator. And this was like, an internship, state offices, government offices, and we all lived in Drackett Tower at OSU. And we were on the elevator, and Steve had his sweatshirt on. So I said, "Oh, hi, I'm Holly. My dad's a professor at OU." And he's like, "Oh." And he looks up at the elevator numbers, looks down at the floor, looks up again. The elevator opens. He walks out. And I said to my mom, he was kind of rude.
This is why we set this up for information.
I did not know this, but I just love hearing this. I know the real
You
story.
were nervous,
It
I'm
was.
guessing.
I was nervous.
Girls don't talk to college age
Girls,
Steve.
yeah, girls didn't talk to me very
He
often.
said, "This is the one."
Don't mess
say
it up.
anything
Don't mess it up.
stupid.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up. Oh, I messed it
And
up.
then, so my mother I had a hometown boyfriend, and my mother was very, wanted me to go meet people and have this experience. So moved into the dorm room, and she said, "You need to go down the hall and go talk to some people." So I was like, I went down the hallway and went into Steve's room when he and his roommate were sitting there. And then he called me Heidi.
Heather.
Heather?
Heather.
Oh, Heather.
Neither of which is
The
right.
wrong name.
Yeah.
Neither was
Is that on
right.
purpose or?
No.
Okay, it wasn't a tactic.
It's
Okay.
just,
Good.
as we discussed earlier today, this has been a long-term problem for me. The whole name thing.
Name, titles.
When I thought you were coming in, I thought maybe your daughter would be. Andres' daughter is hanging out for a few hours before Safety Town, and I
Nice.
thought Ella was going to be joining us, and I got her name wrong.
He said, "Elena."
I mean, they have some
He
letters.
said,
It's not
he
even that
said,
close.
will Elena be joining us today?" And I was like, "That's the intern."
There is one, but she's not joining us. Ah, Steve.
Yeah, it's a long-term problem.
I just enjoy this story more than you could ever know, because I have this vision of like kind of a awkward, dorky Steve.
Yeah, that's pretty much right.
But did you think he was playing hard to get, or did you think he was kind of dorky? Because there's that like, I'm too cool to talk to you
I
thing.
have to, true confessions.
Yeah, that's what we're
I
here
think the next day when I saw him in the suit,
for. Oh.
I was like,
buddy,
okay,
forgiven.
forgiven.
Good for you guys.
And then the first time she saw me in the red sweater, it was.
There's like, maybe not okay, but I'm committed at this point.
No backing out now.
I just love how Steve and I had not one, but possibly two bad first impressions.
There's one more to this story. Go ahead.
There is, and so
3 bad first impressions?
I knew what I was getting.
Love is a curious thing.
It was a curious thing.
Cupid got that arrow and just.
Yeah, right. So we had a lot of.
This is the dinner story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a lot of programming and stuff together, leadership things. So I was an intern at the Ohio Department of Aging, and Steve was an intern with insurance.
Taxation.
Taxation, that's right, Ohio Department of Taxation. And so we had leadership things. So we had a lot of stuff where we were with groups. So we decided we were going to actually have a date that summer instead of kind of going out with groups and stuff. And so we went first to the zoo, and we lost the car. We couldn't find the car when we came out of the zoo.
In the parking lot, yeah.
In the parking lot. Then we went to dinner at, it was Alana's?
Casa de Pasta.
Oh, Casa de Pasta. That was before Alana's, right? Alana's, Casa de Pasta.
On High Street, for those of you that...
On High Street.
Does it still exist?
No, it's...
It's been like 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's been like...
Lana's closed. It's now Ellis.
No. They're both joining us.
Right, and it's actually right now.
They're both joining us.
Oh, it took me a minute to get the joke.
She got you, Steve.
But yeah.
I was
couldn't help
going to give a quick pitch to Adele's, which is the new
jazz and gin
joint right next to where. Now you got me all confused.
Yeah, sorry. And my story is getting long, like Steve's stories are long sometimes.
You tell 3 stories at a time is the problem.
That's true. I'm like, oh, squirrel. So anyway, we had dinner. It was lovely. I even remember what I had. I had pesto, pasta. Brings a check. Steve pulls out a credit card. So he was being very cool because you have to remember we were 21. I mean, we were young.
Credit cards weren't a big thing back then.
It was like, and the waiter said, "I'm sorry, sir, we don't take credit cards."
Oh, snap.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So they only take cash or checks. So you
take FAFSA
and
information.
she drove.
And I drove, yeah. And so I ran to get money, and he sat there and sipped his water until I could come back with the money. That was our first date.
That was our first real
That was
And
genius.
he's
Like,
still
I'm sorry, I can't pay.
Still to this day, he never has cash, ever in his wallet, ever
Doesn't
in
have
his
a
wallet. The
wallet
only
on,
reason
was
why
it?
you have cash is because you just got money. I know you went this morning.
He's got a fat dollar bill going in.
Oh.
Are you going to pay for dinner with that?
No.
I have $8 in my wallet.
I'm not sure you can get Mickey D's with that.
Yeah.
Unless you're going value
It's so
meal.
funny. I never made that connection until just now that you didn't have it then and you never
still-
have
I
cash.
never.
So when you said you're going to go celebrate your anniversary tonight, maybe
$8.
not so much, yeah.
$8.
And you survived that?
I did.
That suit must have been a pretty sharp suit, my brother. These are all cancelable offenses here.
It was white.
It's like the Matlock
Wore a
suit. It
bright
was like a blue.
shirt
And
underneath.
it was buttoned all the way down to the unbuttoned all the way down to the belly button.
Yeah, exactly. Loafers.
Yeah.
That's what got her.
Gold chain with it.
Real
Where were
girl.
your internships that summer?
She was Department of Aging. I was Department of Taxation.
Is it weird that that kind of ended up with what you're sort of doing?
Yeah,
It
I
is.
know it. It was definitely a momentous summer. Momentous summer. I get it.
Here's the really weird. There's a kind of another weird thing. So, we brought up pickleball earlier. The woman who set up the internship program where we met is, I think Ruth is one of the she did the initial marketing, was part of the group that initially set up Pickle and Chill.
Is that
And
what brought you to UA? Ruth?
No, we came to UA when we were living in Clintonville. Nate had just come to us, and we were like, our house is too small, and we want to live in a community where we feel there's not any question about whether we send our kids to public schools or not. So we did what a lot of folks do, which is spend a few years in Clintonville and then move across the river, and have loved it ever since. Been in the same house we moved into a little bit over 18 years ago, because Nate was 6 months old when we moved in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. We've been very happy.
Well, I've enjoyed learning a lot about Steve's dorky past, but you are the guest, not Steve. So Steve eloquently recited your titles and positions, but I would like to learn more about what you do.
Oh, yeah. So I am a professor at the College of Social Work at Ohio State, and I study aging, and specifically aging in community. So all of the elements of what it means to age with dignity and choice in community. So that could include anything like housing, but also transportation, also accessing home-based services and supports. So people mistakenly think that the majority of older adults spend time in nursing homes, and that is not true. At any one point in time, less than 5% of older adults are ever in a nursing home. And the fact of the matter is, most of us age in community, in our homes, with often family support, family, and also services, formal services and supports. So that's the research that I'm really interested in. I, in the last 6 or 7 years, have been part of this age-friendly communities movement, which is a effort, an initiative from the World Health Organization to acknowledge and take advantage of the fact that our world is aging, and thinking about what are those social and built environment factors that help us all age well, with the most dignity and choice that we can have. So I work with a phenomenal team at the Age Friendly Innovation Center at Ohio State, conducting research, and then also working with students who often teach me more than I teach them. And then just amazing older adult residents who are the experience experts. I'll never forget one of our residents making a comment about whoever put the grab bars in bathrooms had no idea what they were doing. And that really struck me, to know that we need to talk to the end user. There may be folks who identify how to do this, where to put it, the stud, whatever, but if it's not helpful for the end user, you feel good because you put it in, but it's not helpful. So that's just one example of things that we continue to learn from older adults and people with disabilities about their lived experiences navigating the world.
So what are, I got the number 3. What are like 3 sort of things that Upper Arlington or a place can do based on your research? That grab bars are very interesting because, I always put them up, they're not working. What are some other things that we could do, big or small?
At the city?
Or the world. I don't know. If Upper Arlington's perfect, we'll accept that. But
Yeah.
She said nope.
I mean, if we think about sort of these different domains of livability and age friendliness, many of those domains, the end goal is social connection. And so as you think about opportunities for the city, thinking about how can we better connect with one another, because our length and quality of life is most influenced by social connections. So of those factors that we can control, how many people you see per day, and having a small group of people that you can count on, and that those people can count on you, those are stronger predictors of the length and quality of your life than your diet, exercise, smoking, sitting. We're hearing a lot about sitting and how we're sitting so much. At the end of the day, those who live the longest and live the best are those who are socially connected with others. You see people every day. So as a community, how can we think about that? I mean, the new community center is a model of how to support seeing people. So even just the act of seeing people each day, whether you have conversations with them or not, makes a difference.
Just seeing people.
Just seeing people.
Like walking by.
Yep. So leaving your home, going to buy a cup of coffee, having that exchange. And then, of course, with the community center, too, there's going to be spaces for people to connect and talk and socialize. So thinking about that. So my dream would be to have UA have a community circulator. So our Age-Friendly Innovation Center has supported the development of 2 circulators, one in Clintonville and one in Marysville, actually, in which we have a set route where older adults and people with disabilities know every Thursday they can get on.
Is this like a bus or something? Or,
yeah.
or a monorail, perhaps?
If only.
That'd be awesome.
Yes, a bus. And that's an opportunity for someone to get who may not want to drive, who are not capable of driving, to have someone friendly that knows their name to help them get on the bus, have a lift, and know that they'll be back to pick them up at the other point of that loop. Go to the grocery store, go to the library, go to... and so I would love to see UA have some type of senior circulator. I would love for UA to have more first floor bedrooms. That's a personal thing for us. Our current house does not have a first floor bedroom or full bath. And so that's a hard place to age. We are going to have to move so that we can age in our home. And so I'd love for UA to have more zero entry homes, first floor bedrooms, bathrooms, so that folks who want to age here have a home that they can...
Just to clarify, move or add on to the house. This is an ongoing discussion within our house.
Take the poll now.
Yeah, right. So those are just a couple of things around transportation and housing, socialization that I'd love to see in our community. Now, we do a ton of amazing things. That's why we wanted to live here. So UA does already do a lot of wonderful things. I'm always dreaming about what else could be, and poor Steve has to listen to it.
Yeah. No, and it's one of my standard jokes about the community center is the happiest day for me will be when I get a call from some teenager's mom about how some 80-year-old hustled them at the pool tables. Mm-hmm. I say it because it's...
We do not condone gambling at the community center.
Unless you're an 80-year-old hustling.
80-year-olds are allowed to hustle. We have an exception.
Hey, that is an ageist comment.
However, the point behind the comment being that means that the interaction, putting people close to one another who otherwise wouldn't be interacting is happening in a way that is exactly how we wanted it to happen because of what you talked about.
That's right. And that, you mentioned the intergenerational connections, we know that is a protective factor. So a young person that has a relationship with an older non-relative adult, that is a protective factor for that child in making better choices and navigating the challenges of young adulthood. And so looking at where are those places when we can have non-relative adults form relationships, and sport and entertainment is a great place to do that.
You know, it's funny you say that because like in every like sitcom or TV show, there's always like the neighbor who they're always hanging out with. And like, you know, I've never hung out with my neighbor like that, you know, but it's like that's on TV all the time. How do we facilitate that kind of, relationship? Nowadays, it seems like people just kind of do their thing and play on their devices.
Yeah. I think it's really hard. I don't think there are easy answers. I think it is a different time, and we need to be creative and innovative to figure that out. So we know it makes a difference, but how do we facilitate the behavior change? How do we support the young people, all of us, people of all ages, to interact with our neighbors and care about our neighbors? We drive our cars, we park in our garage, we go into our house, we come out of our house, and never to see anyone. So, I think that is a real significant challenge for our communities and societies. How do we support behavior change around interactions? How do you hold space where people are motivated to be there? We certainly, with pickleball, have interacted with a lot of people of various ages and abilities, because it's a sport that individuals can interact with easily. We're often the youngest people at Pickle and Chill, or oldest people at Pickle and Chill often. I mean, it is
typically we're either the oldest or the youngest, but kind of because you'll see, there's groups that skew a little older, and then increasingly you see lots of folks in their 20s and 30s who are really taken to the sport.
Yeah. And so what are those opportunities? Music festivals. What are those musical acts that will attract diverse people to just be together, just to hang out? But I don't know the answer to that. But I think that is where getting a bunch of you all smart people in the room with the city to think about how do we want to do that? Because ultimately you want your residents to live and age well. And if you know that social connection matters, what's the role? What is the city's role in doing that? So how do we come together and be intentional about that? And those things are already happening. I mean, I'm acting like they're not happening. It's an ongoing challenge, I think,
and
in
I think
communities across the country.
Yeah, I think coming off the 4th, I do think it's a good opportunity to give a shout out to all those folks who organized their block party.
Yeah, that's a great example.
The act of being that household that calls and gets the permit and puts out the flyers to everybody on the street, that matters.
Yeah.
It really does matter.
Yeah.
Speaking of the 4th, completely unrelated, can I just give a major shout out to all the residents of UA for no golf cart problems?
It was lovely.
I had such a nice time driving and not almost getting wrecked 100 times. Like, thank you, everybody, for doing
the right thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I know it's not really related to the podcast, but
Yeah,
that was a little bit of rage from last year.
Well, it's interesting because talking with other people, they actually articulated how their anxiety level was a little bit lower. So
other people actually agree with me? Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
Yeah. Outside of the city and stuff. But so other people outside the city, it's like, I'm not worrying about the teenagers driving around crazy. It was. And then it was such a great turnout, I thought, at the parade. It was the biggest, I don't know, somebody probably looks at those numbers, but it was like the best turnout since we've been here.
Certainly in our kind of neck of the woods.
Yeah, at the parade. So it was really.
Do you have a favorite? I know we're talking about 4th, which you're probably going to have to say 4th now, but do you have a favorite UA kind of event now that you're sort of in the inner matrix of what's getting planned here? And it could be something that's like a hidden gem, or it could be, because I have my own favorite that's completely different than anything else.
Care to share?
Yeah, man, there's this thing called the dino dig that they did where they buried these bones in the volleyball court, and Parker went ham on digging up these bones.
I put
Parker
together the
does?
activity guide.
I mean, I was like, Parker, we're doing this.
I was editing the dino dig, and I was like, this is information specifically for Darren.
Yeah, the first year I got here, I did not know about it, and I missed it, and I was heartbroken. So everyone in the Parks and Rec staff tells me, Dino Dig's opening, go do it. So do you have something that really is something big for you? It could be everything if you want.
It could be everything. I think about it as almost like life stages. So with the kids, So when they were younger, we took advantage of the what was it, Soccer for Tots or something?
Yeah, Soccer Tots.
Soccer Tots. So like kind of the rec programming with the kids when they were really young was a favorite. And that was such a great way for them to just get introduced to sport in a very safe way. So if your kid was like crying in the bushes, it was okay. And so historically, that piece. And then seeing, certainly the 4th of July is a big favorite. And this is done with the Civic Association, but the scare, the Halloween scare at Smith
Golden
Nature
Bear Scare.
Park. Golden Bear
Oh,
Scare.
yeah.
The Golden Bear Scare. Again, as the kids got a little bit older, that was like a really safe but fun way for them to run around. So now, I will say, this Smith Nature Park and Katie Oberly Creatives, who is somebody who is part of Bee Sanctuary, that's a new place over here, 5 Points, does a forest bathing session at Smith.
A what?
Forest bathing.
Are you bathing the forest or are you bathing
Forest
in the forest?
bathing at Smith Nature Park. So it is a time of reflection. So you're actually not bathing.
Okay, because I'm like, I am not getting
That is
naked in
not
the woods
safe.
and putting soaping up.
That's not city sanctioned.
Not happening.
That's not city sanctioned. So you go and you reflect and think about and observe. So you utilize your senses in nature to to contemplate, to reflect, and it's a really amazing experience.
Is it like a form of meditation?
Yeah, it's a form of meditation. It's a connectivity with nature. So you listen. What sounds do you hear? What do you see? What do you smell? And just stop and observe. And so it's like, oh gosh, there are leaves on that tree that I'm zooming past in my car. And so this is just new now at the she does it, I think, on Saturday mornings, I want to say.
And you've done this.
So I have forest bathed with her and a group.
Do you have to sign up for this?
You do, yes. Yes.
You don't know me super well.
Right.
Do you think I could survive this, or would I just like lose my mind?
So
It sounds amazing,
that's
but
We think you could use it.
That's exactly. You hear people who struggle with the idea of meditation. That I could never do that. I could never do that. And of course, that's probably the folks who could benefit the most.
Right.
To quiet your mind and to quiet your body and it's all self-directed. I mean, it's sort of facilitated, but it's self-directed. So you can't do it wrong. You can just kind of try it. But
well, there's one way to do it wrong. If you show up to forest bathing with the towel and like a little brush and
Indeed.
a cap, and you're like, I'm ready to jump in.
Indeed.
No.
Oh, the water in the creek's pretty low, but I'm still going in there.
Going in there.
So,
yeah. And the fairies. I just love Smith Nature Park.
Yeah.
I love the little fairy houses there.
We had an episode about
We
that.
did have that.
Go back to the archives and listen.
I did.
No, not you. I'm talking like our listeners should go back and give us some more clicks.
That was spring. That was like late May of 22. Probably would have been with
Sounds
Sam.
all right. Sam
with
Simmons.
Yeah, that was actually a really good episode. Sorry.
They're real.
So, everything we've talked about has made you sound very serious and very enlightened.
Definitely enlightened.
Really?
Other than being married to me.
Oh gosh.
But one of the questions.
Keep it real, honey.
I'm about to. One of the questions we always ask is, "What's your guiltiest or nerdiest pleasure?" Mm-hmm. And you have on here watching cooking shows.
I know, because I was too embarrassed to do my really embarrassing.
Oh, so you're turning the script. Well,
now I'm blushing.
It's your turn, Steve.
You got to do it.
Hey, if you're throwing this out there, you're right along with me.
I'd say bring it both.
You're right.
No, I
with
watch
me,
them. I watch them
sweetheart.
with you.
You
I
do.
will watch them with
What
you.
is it?
Well, I wanted to talk about cooking shows, but if you want to go
No,
there,
we can
we
talk
can go
about.
there.
We can talk about cooking.
Oh, this is
shows.
like when it's nuclear.
You can't back out.
No.
Mutually assured self-destruction is what's going on right now.
Yeah, no, you can't back out now.
We binge watch, like Love Is Blind.
Let's see, is that our favorite one? Yes,
Love is
Love
Blind,
is Blind.
Married at
right,
First
because
Sight.
Married at First Sight.
Those are the two that
and
we-
Love is
Made 'em.
Blind.
Yes.
These three. Oh my goodness! And I thought you were going to try to say I did it and you did.
No. I'll own it.
I just am so interested in these people's lives. I just get so sucked in, and I'm like, how can that happen? How do people do this? And then I'm like, please get together. Please get together.
The only dating show I've ever been able to stomach is I don't think it's on anymore. It's called Blind Date, where people would go on a blind date and they'd have like thought bubbles and stuff on and
Yes.
stuff. That was
Yes.
funny.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
although that is embarrassing, I will agree, but you both do it. So I'm
Yeah.
interested in knowing what are some pop culture things, either music or TV shows that y'all disagree on. Like you want to watch it or Steve wants to watch it and you're like, I hate that. Or Steve wants to turn the radio up and you're like, turn it off. Is there anything?
Yes. The Kitchen. That's a food
Yes.
cooking show that I love. Actually, this happened last night.
It did.
So we were really tired. We worked out a bunch. And so Steve went upstairs. I was downstairs at the TV. And I was like, oh, he's upstairs for the night, whatever. So I'm turning on The Kitchen. And then here I hear him thunk, thunk, thunk coming down the stairs.
Fun
Like,
crusher.
and so I was like, I think I said, are you going to come down and watch TV?
Like, are you sure you're feeling up for coming down? Because I had a headache. Are you sure you don't need to go back to the?
We're gonna do something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what is it about The Kitchen that you don't like?
Yeah,
so-
let's hear. I don't understand.
It's so they're like so over the top happy. They're just.
But that's like,
Steve can't take joy.
can't
I can't take what feels like put on joy.
You need to sunbathe in the forest. More,
Yes.
apparently.
Forest bathe.
Force
Sorry.
I just love how like the disagreement is
we
not
don't want them
because
sun.
you like cooking
Sunbathing in the
shows.
forest doesn't work very well because there's shade from the trees.
Nor is that something
But
we
you
want.
don't get burned.
That's true.
That's true.
That's
That's
true.
true.
Don't need sunblock.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you're fighting over the fact that like
So-
it's a kind of cooking show that you both like, but just not this particular
Yeah,
one.
this one
Well,
that it's
he likes the competition cooking shows.
Okay.
Those would be the
like Tournament of Champions.
Yeah.
And you like them too.
and Beat Bobby Flay.
I like that
Bobby
one.
Flay,
That's a
I-
good
that
one.
I don't know. That's not.
Beat
My,
Bobby
I like.
Flay.
I
I like
like
that
Tournament
too,
of
yeah.
Champions more.
Tournament, yeah. So I just like to. It's just you can do other things when it's on. You don't have to focus too much, and I don't know. He doesn't like it.
Do you
It's a
like
good-
Down Home Makeover? Hometown Makeover?
I have not watched that.
Oh, it's a good feel good.
Oh,
Check it out.
Is it like a
They renovate
the house?
homes in their hometown in Laurel, Mississippi. And they only renovate homes there because it needs some attention and it's a feel good for sure.
Oh, we'll have to check that out.
We will.
I just love that you guys are the perfect couple because your one disagreement is one particular cooking
Oh,
show.
no,
no,
there's more.
We got more.
Okay, give me one that's a little bit more feisty than
They have a movie.
So.
They have.
So like
what is
she'll
something
she'll
we
she'll,
don't-
she'll she would sit down with Margie Pizzuti and watch Hallmark movies.
Yes,
Oh,
I do like
I-
Hallmark movies.
I can't.
Occasionally.
Do
I
it. I
mean,
can't do it. And I'll watch dumb guy movies where they blow stuff up and she can't.
yes. So probably the biggest is the violent stuff that looks real. I don't want to watch that. So that's his. We have like the shows we watch separately, the shows we watch together.
you have the same taste in music, or like, is there a radio fight sometimes?
I don't have super strong feelings about music. I kind of ride whatever Steve
Yeah.
wants.
There's
I
some.
like all
there's
kinds of
some
music.
stuff. There's some kind of rock and roll stuff that like she doesn't like U2. Never has, and it's kind of that heavy guitar stuff she won't.
But you've come to peace. You can
Yeah,
you can kinda
guys,
like agree
you
on
know,
stuff.
Darren, I am trying to think about what, in beyond pop culture, what are those things we disagree on?
Food?
Oh,
Any kind
yeah.
of food that you can't one of you always wants. And
She likes crab. I can't do crab.
Crab. I mean, this is what we're looking. I know. I feel like
It's not much here. I
Yeah,
mean,
there's
it's
not
just good.
much
I mean, it's good. I'm not
material.
trying to draw division
There's
between
not
you.
much material. There's got to be something that we are not.
What about
thinking
pizza? Do you
of.
like the same toppings on your pizza? Yes.
you definitely disagree on cash in the wallet. We've got
Yes,
With cash
cash
in the
in the wallet
Yeah.
for sure.
She'll like a veggie pizza. I finally admitted to her last week or whatever that I don't like veggie pizzas. But I've been for 30 years I've been eating them just because I know it makes her happy.
Aw.
Are you
so
both
funny.
morning people?
I don't know.
A mix.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Well,
I mean, there's not a lot. I really am digging
I know.
about. I think probably the main conflict, which is probably typical for many folks in our situation, is being two full-time working parents, raising kids, having parents and caregiving with parents, and just balancing our time
Yeah.
with managing the house.
That's legit. I
managing-
mean, that's normal.
So I think that is probably the biggest thing. My job is very flexible, so I can do it different times at different, and so sometimes, so often I'm the one. Although this job is more flexible than your past jobs you've had, but so I'm often the one that's doing the doctor's appointments and that kind of stuff, just because I have more flexible schedule. But I would say that's probably the biggest thing, is just balancing being two full-time.
I mean, I guess I'm
workers.
glad I didn't ask the question and I didn't expose some sort of deep-seated thing that was like really going on. I was like, oh, I did not mean to go there. Yeah,
Our
so-
30th isn't until next month. We're still going to make it after this podcast.
Yeah, I'm
fortunately.
glad I didn't
nothing
screw
came
something up.
You didn't bring up the thing that
Yeah.
is going to end it all. Yeah.
She's like, I've been meaning to tell you, Steve. I hate your music and it's over.
Well, I have to say, this veggie pizza thing is surprising. I thought he always wanted veggie pizza.
well,
Just look at it as a positive. It's because
He loves
you
you.
He
so
loves
much.
me.
I know you
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
Like
I
mushrooms,
had no
pro or con?
idea.
I'm not a huge mushroom fan.
I'm
I can
very
do
con.
mushrooms.
I cannot do them.
I can do mushrooms.
I love mushrooms.
I am legendary for pretty much eating anything, but if it's mushrooms, I'm gonna take a pass.
Forget about it, huh?
So, note to all city staff: tell Darren it has mushrooms.
Yeah, if you don't want me to eat your food, put mushrooms in it.
That's a
Made
mushroom
cupcakes,
donut.
there's mushrooms in it. Oh, I had a
All right.
question.
So we finish every podcast with 2 questions. As a loyal listener, although I understand. Well, are you caught up now?
Well, since May, I've been catching up.
Okay.
Wait,
Since I got
May.
the
What? You're not-
invitation.
That's
Wait a
why
minute.
our analytics are sky high.
That's right.
It doesn't. I mean, there aren't that many episodes. Like, it shouldn't take you since May to catch up.
No.
So,
No, I listen to.
so you know how we end every pod.
Yeah.
What do you love about UA, and what would you change? Mm-hmm. And you really are not allowed to say that you would change. Well, you can say, city attorney.
Yeah. I wouldn't appreciate
You
it.
can't
But
say city manager, but you can say city attorney.
Okay. So what do I love? I love the sense of community. Speaking our kids who grew up here playing sports. I've heard this also happens in other interest areas where older kids support the younger kids through youth programming, like with basketball, for example. When our kids grew up loving basketball, the older kids supported them, and now our kids are older, they're supporting the younger. I also love the fact that I can walk. So where we live, I can walk to grocery store, library, restaurants, bars, a park. So the walkability is really important to me, and I just love that about where we live. And that to me creates a sense of community, because you are seeing people, even if you don't know them, you're saying hi, you're seeing people. So I think that supports some of that cross-generational interactions in different ways. So I love that. What I would change is, no, not Darren.
Steve's like advocating for it.
That'd be terrible for the pod.
Terrible.
Might be okay, actually.
Bring a lot of personality.
Jackie's always waiting in the wings.
Jackie, yeah.
Jackie's slipping her a note right now.
What I would change is this opportunity to continue to age in place through housing options that have first floor bedrooms, that have bathrooms on the first floor, that are available in areas that you can walk to places you need to be. And so we have some of that, but there's such a demand for it. And just personally, I know that's a journey that we're going to have to make and decisions to make. So that would be something that I would like to change. And I think that would keep and bring in different folks in the community. So I always think that communities are richer when they are more diverse. And that's just another way of thinking about diversity.
Thank you for not picking me. And thank you for coming in and surprising Steve. I wish, I said it before, but I wish I had a video of it because it was a look of like shock, confusion, fear.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't just come into his office like that. He was like, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
Feel bad for half a second.
I know.
Only
Me
half
too.
a
That's
second.
why I was like, there's no emergency.
Yeah, she's
There's
like, it's
no
cool. Don't worry,
emergency.
Steve.
Yeah.
Is it the kids or my parents?
Yeah.
And so, well, thank you for coming on. My favorite guest of all time.
Aw.
Sorry, Andres.
Well,
And thanks for having her on, guys. This was fun for me.
yeah. Well, I loved being able to talk with all of you, and thank you for the great work that you do with Steve and for our community. And so many people say the city's in good hands, and I couldn't agree more.
Great.
All right.
It's a great way to end that thing.
Love
Can't top
that.
that.
How about you?
Hey, you haven't said
Test
anything.
1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Wow.
A
Can you-
voice for
can you-
radio.
Could you bump me up a little bit so I can hear? I don't hear them very well.
You don't hear
Bump
us.
me up a
Bump
little
me
bit. That's
up.
like radio code or something.
Better?
Bump it up.
Good?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Do you need a beat?
Oh,
Are you good?
Yeah.
I am outstanding.